If there's something that I think we can all agree on as gamers, it's the fact that 2020 has been quite the strange year. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but if there's something we can find some type of a silver lining, we can find solace in, it's in the fact that there have been a lot of freaking cool video games to play. Games such as Doom Eternal, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, in addition to the recently released Ghost of Tsushima, rank highly on my list of top games for 2020. And all those games are great, but there is one key defining factor in them. All of those games are not available on a Nintendo platform. Now, I know what y'all are going to say. Neo, 2020 has been great for Nintendo. What are you talking about? We've had Animal Crossing and... No. So while 2020 has been great for a lot of people, it has not been so hot for Nintendo. Now, when you take away the whole discussion of, hey, first world problems, we're in a pandemic, things don't go according to plan, and when you strip all that away, it still shows that Nintendo has not really put out much for the year. We had Animal Crossing break all kinds of crazy records, and frankly, it was the best game to come out at the right time. In addition to some smaller releases here and there, a personal fan favorite of mine, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition released, and of course you had, for the 6 people that enjoy it, the new Paper Mario game. But other than that, what?
Where the video games? Where my video? I can't breathe.
I know we all like to say Nintendo dances to the beat of their own drum. They're going to do things the way they want to do them. And while it has been really interesting to see Nintendo go about with the lack of a Nintendo Direct, yet we're going to do all these mini quasi directs that have all these announcements that honestly should have been rolled into one seasonal direct. Why they didn't do that is beyond me. Just unveiled today, we have the Super Mario 35th Anniversary 3D Collection. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the worst kept secret in all of gaming. This collection is bringing together 3 fan favorite Mario titles, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, in addition to Super Mario Galaxy. All 3 of these games are going to be packaged together on the Nintendo Switch in just 2 weeks, which is freaking incredible when you think about the library of the Nintendo Switch and how it's basically amassed a lot of classic Nintendo titles. I mean, you've got this 3D collection right here, which includes those 3 games. You've got Super Mario 3D World coming out. It's like we have every single one of the 3D Mario games there, and it's a beautiful thing to see. You know, I can't help but feel as if something is missing, but I just don't know what it is. Shouldn't you be excited about this, Neo? Well, I would be excited if it wasn't Nintendo being Nintendo. What do I mean by that? Well, Nintendo. 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. But in this situation, it's more like 1 step forward. Yeah, literally, you're gonna be moonwalking the hell out of here. This 3D Mario collection is kind of a big ripoff, but not in the ways that a lot of y'all are expecting. So you have 3 games brought together on the Switch. It's retailing for $60. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh my gosh, that is too crazy overpriced. Why does Nintendo get to do this? You know, they just come out here and they release one game for $60 when it was on the Wii U and it was $50. Yes, under normal circumstances, I would agree with that fact, but they're bringing together 3 games. So when you divvy it up, $20 each, I'm not saying it's okay. I am not, considering we've had other companies do much better for less. But in the grand scheme, in the hierarchy of Nintendo fuckery, this is actually a good deal. But it's just those 3 games with little to no upgrades and updates. So as you can see right here, Super Mario 64 is running in its original aspect ratio for the most part, whereas Galaxy and Super Mario Sunshine have received the widescreen treatment. Now that is pretty cool, but if you look at the games themselves, they don't necessarily look that much better. Of course, they've gone back and they cleaned up some of the visuals, but realistically, when you're thinking about, oh my gosh, they're going to come out with all these games and it's going to be amazing on the Switch, take advantage of the horsepower that's on the Switch, and they don't, it just kind of feels like, bruh, these are straight ports. Which for a lot of people, they might be okay with, because for a lot of people out there, these are some of their most favorite games of all time. So the less they do to these games to really alter the core fundamental experience, the better. They just want to play the games as they were back in the day, but with a couple of little tweaks here and there. I get it, I understand that. But I'd be lying if, looking at these games, I didn't think of something else. Something that we could have had. Looking at the Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro Reignited trilogy, those games, for the most part, retained the core fundamental values and aspects of the games we played way back when in the 90s, but they did upgrade it, bring it up to the modern standards, and for better or for worse, those games play similar to how they did back then, in all the best ways and worst ways possible. So for Nintendo to come out here and do this collection of 3 games for $60, and there's not that level of detail attached to it, I gotta say I'm kind of disappointed. But when you strip away the technical mumbo jumbo talk about this game, I think the biggest offense and why I really don't feel too comfortable buying this release is in the fact that they are basically saying if you don't buy it now, you ain't never going to play this game ever again. And what do I mean by that? Well, the fact that the game is only going to be available until March 31st, 2021. Yeah, you guys heard that right. From the release of this game on September 18th to the end of March, that is the time frame you have to purchase the game, whether it's physical, whether it's digital. If you don't buy it within that time frame, too bad, so sad. And again, this is nothing new for the company that is Nintendo. They did this before for a collection on the Wii. They did this when it came down to their classic systems, the NES Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic. They're known for these sort of things, but the reason why we were able to give them a pass on the classic systems is because that was literally just for nostalgia. It was a nostalgic system that you really didn't need to own. But when it comes down to actual software, something that, you know, for a lot of people, this is what they've wanted for the longest time. The fact that they can play all of these old games on a newer system, play it portable, you know, that has much more of a draw by comparison to a Super Nintendo Classic, which you're going to plug in, play for a weekend, and then put it on a shelf. You know, this is something tangible that a lot of old gamers will play and a lot of new gamers will play. So the fact that they are coming out here and saying that, oh, well, if you don't buy it within 6 months, that's it. In my personal opinion, that's pretty anti-consumer.
You can't keep getting away with it!
One of my homeboys and who I co-host the NXP podcast with, God of Shortman, Jamil, said this on Twitter, and this sentiment is 100% true, because when you look at a lot of the things that Apple has done, and you look at a lot of things that Disney has done, those companies and why they're able to get away with it, it's because their audience deems their brand that valuable. Yes, that's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. So we can sit here and we can whine and we can moan and we can bitch and complain about how this is anti-consumer, how this is bad, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, if you love this collection enough, if you love even one of these games like Sunshine is my personal favorite 3D Mario game. If you love it enough, you're going to buy this collection, no ifs, ands, or buts. And if you're somebody who wants to, well, let's just talk about the scalper mentality, you want to make a quick buck off of this, you're probably going to pre-order 10 copies. Because if you know in 6 months that the value of these games is going to double, triple, quadruple, even like 10 times that amount, oh yeah, you're going to do this. So what do we do? What do we do? How do we avoid this happening? Well, I want to just say vote with your wallets, but for a lot of people who are watching this video, you love Mario so much that you just went out there and you already pre-ordered it. So what else can I say, really? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens after they pull these games off of the shelves. It's so weird to think about they're pulling a digital game off of the shelf when it's only been out there for 6 months. That's just astronomical. But I wouldn't be too surprised if a couple months after that we see that Super Mario 64 ends up on the Nintendo 64 Switch Online Classic thing. I have a feeling that's going to happen, or they're going to come out here and they're going to sell these games digitally at like outrageous prices. I just have a feeling that's what's going to happen. But let me know down below in the comment section what y'all think about this. Are you going to pre-order this? You can pick it up day one. I mean, the fact that it's coming out in 2 weeks, I assume we're going to see a lot of people who are just going to impulse buy, whether it's for nostalgia's sake or whether they're going to scalp it online. Let me know down below. For me, for now, my name is NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.